What's up, guys? Today we're gonna teach you guys how to assemble a Capa. We're gonna start at the bare bones, then we're gonna build it up, and hopefully it's gonna be great. So here's what we're gonna do. Start off with this little pin right here. This side of the advanced. By the way, we're working with an Airsoft Masterpiece Advanced frame today. So this is the frame housing. It's different from Marui. There's plenty of videos of Marui. Not many of the advanced frames, so I'm just gonna be demonstrating that. All right, so you want the side that doesn't have this little ridge, right? And you want this spring, right? This spring is proprietary to Airsoft Masterpiece Advanced frames. Don't lose it. You're gonna pay $70 for this whole housing set if you lose it, so please don't. So what you wanna do is it's gonna face like this with this little tab facing up, and then you're gonna take your pin, the side without the ridge, and it's just gonna fit on there nice and loose, and then this little tab on this side is going to sit behind that little pin right there. And that's what's going to create the tension for your valve knocker. This is a valve knocker spring, right? And then here's the valve knocker itself, and you see the little channel, and that's where that little tab is, and you're going to catch it and then just kind of drag it forward, and your valve knocker will sit in this little channel, just like that, right? Next, you could take your sear. It just goes right on top of that little pin, and you're done with that pin. Now, next, we have the hammer pin, right? Face the hammer to the right side, right? Put the pin in. If it drops all the way through and the bottom hangs out, that's good, right? If it doesn't, oh, that was random. If it sits like that, that's the wrong way. It won't go in, okay? Make sure it drops through the bottom, right? I can show a video on, I'm not going to take the hammer strut out and this pin out. I can show a video if you guys want that. Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's start that by just setting it in right there. Awesome. Now, we're ready to go. We're going to take the hammer housing cover. It has a little steel screw. Again, $70 if you lose the screw. You're going to have to buy a whole new housing. It's a steel screw. So, I mean, I guess if you do lose it, you could probably find the same size at a hardware store, or maybe a buddy has one. It's going to fit over, and it's going to sit flush with that, and with the hammer, it's going to lock it in, right? Old Phillips head. I like to use Loctite on this. I take this apart like every other day to show people things, so I'm not going to Loctite it, but there it is. Just don't over tighten it. Use the proper size screwdriver, very important here. All right, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now let's take our advanced frame. Oh, before you do that, you need to remember your firing pin. So flip it over to the other side, grab your firing pin spring. If you lose this, it comes in a little AIP set. It's like $8 or something for the set. So this just kind of has a little tab here. It kind of sits down in this channel. There's a tab on the side. It sits in that channel. You want to push it as far forward as you can, right? The spring, I like to start on the side of the firing pin and use my thumb to push it back into the frame housing. Kind of like that. And this will seat in there eventually. You might have to have your hammer up. Let's try that. It feels a little tight. There we go. Hammer up. Oh. Yeah, don't let this go anywhere. You're not going to find it again. And I'm just trying to compress the spring, which is flying all over the place. This is why you buy multiple. I think the pack comes with like 3 of them, whatever. Press it to fit in there. There it is, beautiful, easy. All right, so you're just gonna keep your thumb on it so the whole firing pin doesn't go flying, and you're gonna take the housing and you're just going to slide it down in there, right? You can get your hammer up if it's stuck, just play with the sear back there. There you go. All right. At this point in time, you'll probably forget this when you do it yourself, but I'd just like to put just the back one. All right, first, just the back pin, and then the disconnector. And the disconnector, we're gonna go to the other side, and it's gonna face like this. This little opening is gonna face the front of the gun. And it's gonna slide in into this little channel right here. You'll see it peek out right there. Magic. Just like that. And take your smaller pin. Should just drop right through. Click in. Now your disconnector isn't going anywhere. Make sure you're always cleaning your rails. Keep everything clean. All right, let's move on to the grip. Start with the trigger. Trigger. I like the cow trigger, but any trigger's fine. Airsoft Masterpiece trigger bar, steel, one piece. It has a little tab that you can bend to adjust the trigger. I have it adjust just a little bit. And then there's the screw that you can use to adjust the trigger if you have an adjustable trigger. Always Loctite this in with blue Loctite. I lost mine because I wasn't paying attention. It got too loose, fell out. So what you want to do is this little slant is going to go with the slant of the grip. That's the best way I can describe it. And you just put it in just like that. It should be able to move freely. If it doesn't, that means you need trigger fitment. All right, there's other videos on how to do that, but that's a skill that you acquire after doing just a lot of these. You can see how buttery smooth this is. That's good. Next thing, magazine release. This is a brand new one that I just pulled out of the package just a couple minutes ago. So I pulled it out like yesterday. It's probably going to be tight. We'll see if it goes in without any complaints. Once you take this out of the package and stuff like that, be very careful. Don't be bumping it around, playing around, because this little pin will drop out and will go flying. Will break any glass that it hits, and you'll lose the spring in the pin, and you're going to be buying a new one of these. So it just goes in just like that, and then you press from the other side to press it up. Take a flathead, and you turn to the right. Gently, don't do it too hard. You'll break the head off the screw. And let's see if that wants to stick. And then you can press it down in, and it should. It needs to wear in a little bit, but that's pretty good. Good enough. Cool. Let's put our frame on. Take your frame, put it on. Should fit just like that. We can start with the frame screw. Let's see where I put it. Trying to remember. This is why you keep all your stuff in a little bucket. And I put everything in this little bucket except the frame screw, because I'm an intellectual. Here it is, hiding behind. You guys could probably see it. I couldn't. All right. This just goes right in the front. Good screw to have. I don't think you need to really Loctite it in, but if you want to, it's not a bad thing to do. Screw it in. Depending on how new your, so a new grip. This is a self-tapping screw, so a new grip is going to have just a hole. So this is going to be very tight. You're going to have to screw it a lot. It's going to feel like it's taking forever. You got it. Mine's in. Oh, disconnector decided to show up to the party. Okay. Let's see if we can just put that back in. This is why I like the cow one. You can't do this with a Maru one because the tab sticks out the back here really far. But the cow, you can kind of slip it in there. It's easier if I just drop this pin out once more and then just put it in. Can get frustrating. Part of the secret to high Kappas, a lot of people can't handle, is the patience. You just need a lot of patience. Stuff like this happens. Nothing you can do about it besides learn from it. Okay. Grip screws. I like Airsoft Masterpiece grip screws. You can use any grip screw you want as long as it's not. There was a couple batches of AIP screws where there's a little hole in the middle of the threading, right? And what would happen is it'd break off and you'd have to draw out the screw, and it might it probably will ruin your frame. If you have an advanced frame, you might say goodbye to that simply because of an $8 screw. Right, so quality screws, and my screwdriver is falling apart because it was 99 cents at the dollar store. Go, nice and tight, easy peasy. Okay, let's assemble the hammer box. I'll show you how to do this real quick. I won't show everything in this video. You just make a request in the comments, but basically this little pin is gonna come out the side, and then that will come out, right? So you got your hammer box, right? Your spring, I like to use the AIP 140. You can also use the stock Marui, it's very good, very good. Or if you're advanced, you can use the Capa hammer spring tuner set. That's really fun to mess with. You just pop that in, hammer strut pin, boom. Then you take your little hammer box pin, drop that right there, press in, and then press the hammer box pin in. That locks that in, just like that. All right, awesome. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our plunger set, okay? Airsoft Masterpiece set. You can use Forge Airsoft. I'm not sure if Capa makes one, they probably do, almost definitely. The short end, short plunger goes in first. Just like that. And then you take your left side safety. The left side safety has the little extra pin right there, and it's a little fatter down here. And you just, you make sure your hammer's back. Not too far, otherwise it won't go in. But hammer back. Safety in. Then you come in from the back like this, and that will let you put your hammer in and clear that pin. So tension it, keep that up. Oh, I almost forgot. So this happens to me sometimes. Probably happened to you at least once. Get the plunger back in. Make sure that doesn't go flying whenever you take your safety out. You need to put your beaver tail in. Don't forget your beaver tail, very important. At least aesthetically. All right, there's the safety. And then you can put your left side safety in, just have it at the same angle. Did that just come out of the front, or did I just forget about it? Grab this spring. Come on. Let's try that one more time. Put that in first. And then that in. Hammer up just a little bit so you can fit your beaver tail in. Hammer down. Safety. Plunger. Other safety, keep it at the same angle. Just press it right in. If you need to get these pressed really tight and you're feeling like you don't need to take your cap apart anytime soon, vice grips are like plumber's wrench thing, and 2 layers of felt, right? Because you don't want to scratch these nice safeties, right? Press them together, right? That'll help. That's the first thing I do. If it's wobbly, you can kind of crush the little tabs. Otherwise, if it's a Marui, it has a little triangle that fits together. You'll see what I'm talking about if you take a Marui one apart, and you just put a little drop of red Loctite in there, blue or red. It really doesn't matter for that. And you just put it in there and you press it. And that normally keeps the Marui ones good. A lot of Collectors, like myself, don't like to deal with safeties getting wobbly. They just use a left side safety. They sell them separately. It's just a left side. You can just leave the right side out. It has no real functionality, except for me, I'm left-handed. So I like to have the left side safety because when I hold the gun, I look at it and I see the left side, the right side of the gun, sorry. So I like the right side safety. So next, you can put your safeties down. They should click. If you did everything right, you want to get your hammer up like that. And you want to flip your beaver tail up and your hammer strut up, right? Actually, let me just set this aside while I describe this. This is your leaf spring right here, right? Little tab here, 3 prongs. This is the Capa Trident. I really like the Capa Trident. I find it to be the best. You can use Airsoft Masterpiece as well. This left one controls how far your beaver tail sticks out, your grip safety. It doesn't really affect performance that much. This middle one definitely does. This presses on your trigger and your sear. Okay, so this, if you're having issues with your leaf spring, it's probably this middle one. It pretty much just goes straight out. Okay, pretty much straight out. Line that up so you can see how the Capa one looks. And then this presses on your disconnector. This kind of presses in like that. Some of them it's bent a little bit more, some of them it's a little bit less. Basically, just don't mess with it if it works. If it doesn't work, probably just order a new one before you even attempt to mess with it, because you'll probably mess it up. That's why we have professionals. But you set it in there, right? I'm gonna do this so the camera can see, hopefully. This little back tab fits in that slot in the grip right there. There it is. And you can see, well, you can't really see, but the middle tab is sitting on top of the sear, and the right tab is sitting on top of the disconnector. That's how it should be. It should be sitting on top, shouldn't be underneath anything, right? And you can just kind of press that closed. Take your hammer box, press it in, okay? And then you can adjust. This is the easiest way to adjust your leaf spring, is just trial and error, and you can just kind of put it half in and see if the gun will cock and shoot, just like that, right? I don't mind having a silver magwell pin. It's just silver from all the times that I've punched it with a screwdriver and random objects that I've, nearest closest thing I could use. If you want to keep it nice, you can use a rubber punch. Just keep that on you. Safeties work. Oh yeah, nice and snappy the way it should be. Mag release works. Let's actually we can test that. AW Customs drum mag. Hashtag for the culture. Kind of fits in. Ooh, yeah. That's pretty tight. Yeah, this magwell is brand new. Sorry, this magazine release is brand new, so it needs to wear in a little bit, but hopefully that will fit better here in just a little bit. After I press on it, I might tune it. See how it fits with this one. Bang. Okay. That's really tight for sure. It's locking in there. That sure isn't coming out. You want to get it so that you can press it and the magazine will just drop right out. You don't want it to have a lot of tension, but you also want it tight enough that you don't accidentally drop your magazine just by bumping your magazine release. That would not be good. You don't want that. All right, your lower is now complete. You can see how it has a pretty crisp. It's real short. That's the whole trigger pull. Just boom. I even have a little bit of take up. I could take off even more if I had that adjustment screw that I lost. But it's just that. Nice and crisp. Really light because the Capa Trident spring. Not sure if I went over this, but inside the hammer box you can use, I like to use AIP 140 because that matches my recoil spring. I like them to match. My personal preference, like if you use but you can also just use the stock Marie. Depending on what works, just try it out. Normally lighter is better for a lighter trigger pull, and it makes your gun faster because your slide has to push back less force to get your hammer down, but we won't get into that much detail. All right, so lower's done. You can set that aside. Let's go into the upper. This is where things get interesting. Let me disassemble a little bit so I can show you. All right, set that aside. Slide, I like the Airsoft Masterpiece Mega Slide is what I got right now because it's so light, because there's no material here at all. But front sight, I'm not gonna take it off because I have it Loctited in and I set it nicely. You just wanna use rubber punches to get it in so you're not dinging up the sides, and a little drop of Loctite on the bottom of it. There should be an arrow actually on the slide, engraved into the slide, and an arrow shows you which direction it goes in. Sometimes it goes in from the left, sometimes it goes in from the right, depending on the model. They just change that up. And get that in there, it fits nice. All right. You're gonna notice where here, and on the inside there, and right here, and right here. All this is caused by this bad boy. This is the 5KU Spiral Outer Barrel. I really like it. It's awesome. I love them. It's a fixed barrel. Very important. Always use fixed barrels. In my opinion, I don't even know why they still make the floating barrel type, but fixed barrels. It has threads. If you want to use a tracer or whatever comp, up to you. It fits in. It's steel. This is aluminum, so obviously it has to wear somewhere. So it's wearing in there. As long as I don't see the wear from the outside of the gun when the gun's fully assembled. That's my policy. 5KU doesn't have the same standards as like Capa did when they made these barrels, which Capa no longer makes them for a reason that is beyond everyone. As you can see, it fits in like that. You can't see any of the wear, so that's fine. Really great barrels are pretty cheap compared to other stuff. Nice steel, good quality, good finish, especially on the black. I don't really like the gold. The gold doesn't look right to me. The silver is all right. The black is a nice finish. It's more of a matte, but it's still a gloss to it for sure. But more of a matte than the Capa one is really glossy. All right, let's get back to the slide. Rear sight. Marui rear sights are going to break really easy. So what I have here is Airsoft Masterpiece STI rear sight. These are my favorite ones. They just look really clean. Looks like the Marui one. Has the STI logoing on the side though, and it's really strong. I think these ones are steel. I'm not sure. It might be aluminum, but come in black, gold, and silver, I believe. So what you don't want to do is try to slide it through like this. Don't try to slide it through from the side like you did your front sight. What you want to do is take this leftmost prong and put it down in the middle, right? See if I can show that from the bottom. It goes in the middle, and then you can slide across, right? Just slide it across, and if you push it all the way over to the side that it will lock against, you need to know which side it locks against, right? Could lock against the left, could lock against the right. But it will really only go in on one side. You won't be able to get, it will only fit one way. So for this particular slide, it's from the right to the left, right? You want it to fit in. It push all the way against it, should line up. You can see there's some nice cuts on this slide, so you can see that it's lining up. And you just tighten this down. You can use Loctite on your screw here if you really want. I don't, because I'm always changing sights and types of things. Nice. You don't want to scratch this up, so just be really gentle. You might want to put a little cover on it, like a really thin felt or something like that, and that'll keep it nice. I don't really care about mine. I bought it secondhand. It's been banged up. Let's get interesting. This is what people really need to hear. Blowback units. Lots of people have trouble with blowback units for a variety of reasons. First of all, is fitment. Fitment's the most important part, right? You see this streak right here? I bought it this way from a guy who had no clue what he was doing. This streak is, you set it down in there, and it's not seated properly, so it's scraping against your frame, right? You're gonna damage the top of your frame, you're gonna damage the finish on your blowback unit. And those little filings are gonna get inside your slide, and you're gonna damage your slide all in one if you don't seat this properly. So you want it seated in there, you want it to be perfectly flat, right? First, when you first get a slide and you wanna test it, right? Advanced frame, don't have the hammer housing in, right? Just put it on and feel the fitment, right? And that way, and you lubricate it, you feel how smooth it is, right? And then you put the blowback unit in. This is before you even put this hammer housing part in, right? You put your blowback unit in, and you get it to sit down in there properly. Right now, it's not right. That's not right at all. That's pretty close. It's hard to tell without really testing it, but you put it on. Look at that. It's stiff. You can feel the scraping. It's not right. Okay? So it's very important that you make sure it's pressed all the way in. All right? Next thing is the choice. People will have no FPS, their gun's not shooting right, the slide isn't going all the way back. Could be your blowback unit. It often is, right? Blowback unit is a very ingenious design by the Japanese, frankly. The Marui guys, we don't know how they come up with this stuff, but it's amazing. But this is where a lot of the speed comes from. Your Marui blowback unit is pretty heavy, right? It's no point in buying a light aluminum slide and then just using the Marui blowback unit, because the Marui blowback unit weighs more than a stock Marui slide, right? So get a high quality one, right? If you're new to high Capas, right, you want it to work right out of the box. What you want to do is probably, you got an Airsoft Masterpiece slide that you saw that looked cool, right? That's the first thing you probably started with. Then you want to get that Airsoft Masterpiece blowback unit, and you want to pair that with Airsoft Masterpiece nozzle when you want to upgrade your nozzle. Stock Marui nozzle works amazing. The Marui nozzle internals work amazing. But if you want to upgrade for more durability, Garter Enhanced nozzle. Absolutely amazing. You can get the model with the nozzle internals or without. This is the model without, right? I like to get it with, though. And so I actually take the Marui nozzle internals and put them into the Garter shell. That's the best combination with the AIP blowback unit, okay? That's the best combination in my opinion. From all the ones that I've tested, I've never had an issue with that. Good air seal, everything, right? Now, you can also use, what I'm going to use today is an AIP nozzle with AIP nozzle internals, right? Probably not the greatest, but here's a tip, right? When you're new to the thing, stick with one brand and it's more likely all to fit together, right? So, and Airsoft Masterpiece blowback housing is almost guaranteed to fit into an Airsoft Masterpiece slide. An Airsoft Masterpiece nozzles almost guaranteed to fit into an Airsoft Masterpiece blowback unit. It's very rarely that the blowback unit actually needs fitment. It's most of the time just people don't know what they're doing and they put it in wrong, all right? Make sure this screw on top is tightened. Otherwise, like the previous guy, you're gonna cause scraping right there, right? Make sure everything's set up properly. You don't want to cause any scraping on your cylinder, and you certainly don't want the scraping there. Next thing is the nozzle spring. All right, nozzle springs come in a bunch of different ways. My favorite nozzle spring of all time is the UAC 125%. You're not going to find it. They just don't exist anymore. UAC went out of business, sold to Capa. They don't make the spring anymore. All right. The next best thing, in my opinion, is the Capa 180%. That's for your high speed, okay? You guys are building those race high Capas. You really want the speed. 180% is what you need, all right? Some water. This is an AIP 140, and you can see it's actually shrunk. Check this out. It sits in there, and it's hard to see. There's a little gap, right? But when you get a brand new spring, it's going to be pretty tight in there. You're going to have to kind of press it down while you put in the blowback unit. It can be a hassle, but this one's been compressed because it's had a couple thousand rounds through it. right? So it's gonna sit in there nice and calm. That's good for our purposes today, frankly. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your blowback unit upright, and you're gonna put it into the slide. You're gonna try to press it in as best you can before you flip it over, right? If you mess it up, this will get out and it'll get smushed. All right. Now, I told you this is the AIP 140 nozzle spring. This is the most reliable. It's the strongest, right? And your gun isn't gonna chew through it as fast, right? Now you can tell if your nozzle spring is shrinking if you pull your nozzle and there's a little gap. That means that little end bit, your spring is shrunk. That's a sign that it's wearing down, but like this, it's not bad. If it's out here, that's bad, right? But just right there at the end, pretty consistently, that's fine. You just don't want it way far out. All right, so now you're gonna get that press fitted in there. I like to use, this is just the look of the back of one. You can use your stock spring to screw in. I don't like to do that. I like to use the AIP protection pad. With the Airsoft Masterpiece Advanced Frame Airsoft Masterpiece Hammer, this has no use, except, frankly, it just looks cool. And that's why I like it, right? I have Loctite on mine, so you can see the screws kind of in there. You should always Loctite your blowback unit in. I'll go back and do it later, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to use Loctite right now, all right? You want to make sure you're using the correct size screw, all right? It should be Allen wrench, hex screw, whatever you want to call it. You want to use the right size, and here's why. If you use the wrong size, you're going to have to hire a professional to drill out your blowback unit. Okay, you might damage your slide, probably will, and you're certainly going to lose the AIP protection pad, if not your blowback unit as well. Okay, you're going to get it in there nicely. Make sure you're pressing this down. You want to press down this rail up here. This is a key part to press down. That helps it balance it out. Press all the parts down. Most of the time, when you have wear on your blowback unit, it's this left side. So just be pressing down as you screw it in. You got the Loctite in there. Get it nice and tight. And don't over tighten it. Don't strip the screw or anything like that. It's strong, but just be gentle with it. All right. Let's move on to the hop-up unit. This is the Airsoft Masterpiece brass hop-up unit. Absolutely my favorite. We got the Airsoft Masterpiece arm and the hop-up wheel. With Maple Leaf, Decepticon, Autobot, doesn't matter. They have a new 2021 bucking. I haven't tried it yet. I'd like to test that out at some point. And this is 9-ball power barrel, my favorite for the price. Otherwise, PDI. Maple Leaf, not to diss on them, but their hop-up units are worse than the Marui hop-up unit, and their barrels, frankly, aren't even that good, at least for high Capas. Invest in quality stuff, and you'll get quality results. That's all I'm going to say about Maple Leaf, but their buckings are quality. That's the best thing. A lot of people don't like it because they've had a bad experience with their other stuff. The bucking is the best on the market. Simple as that. All right, outer barrel, 5KU outer barrels. You got to be careful. This brass is soft. That's kind of why it's really nice. But this fixed barrel, this tab right here where the hop-up unit contacts it, it's a very small area. There's a lot of force there. When they're locking together, it's going to wear. You can see the browning from the brass particles in there. It's just kind of stained at this point. There's no giant metal shards or anything like that. But keep an eye on it. Keep it clean. Always lubricate, okay? Wipe down excess oil. Get rid of the dirty oil beforehand. Do everything you can to keep metal shards out of your gun. That's how you cause unnecessary wear and things like that, all right? I'm not going to disassemble the hop-up unit for the sake of this video, but if you want that, again, in the comments, let me know. We can do a hop-up unit video where we talk about eye keys, 3D printed eye keys. I have some upstairs. Those would be great. Next, recoil spring. I love AIP 120 recoil springs for high-speed builds. That means you have your slide, your sights, and your blowback unit upgraded. If you don't have that upgraded, AIP 140, okay? The 140 is a little stiffer. It's going to help carry the more weight of the blowback unit and that not upgraded rear sight, all right? Next thing, guide rod. Cow guide rod. people ask me, what is going on with this extra bar right here? Why does it not look like my stock guide rod? Do not use the stock guide rod if you have all this other stuff upgraded, right? If you have an advanced frame and you have a stock guide rod, you are out of your mind, because these things will shatter and they will just scratch up the entire interior. You have not seen catastrophic failure in an airsoft gun if you still have the Marui guide rod, all right? It's pot metal, it's not good. This one has a spring on the inside. It comes with 3 springs. You buy this one guide rod, it comes for 4.3 and 5.1 at the same time, all right? Because it has an extra piece right here. I have it upstairs. You can screw it on and it will be a 4.3 or 5.1 like this, all right? And it comes with 3 springs for the inside, and the spring adjusts the tension for this compression right here. And this is basically just short stroke, free short stroke, and it's really nice and tunable, all right? Next thing is the short stroke itself. A lot of people wonder, boss, what's the best short stroke combination? These cow one, I think this is a yellow cow one. Probably, yeah, cow right on the side. Cow will come in the different colors, and it's different hardnesses. Part of the fun of short stroke is getting to test out the different combinations. So different things are going to work differently, depending on the blowback unit, the nozzle, even the slide that you have. It's going to weigh different. You're going to get different feelings, all right, between different types of short stroke. So I just have these ones in. That's what I like. I find it comfy just like this. And I don't know what brand this is. It might be Airsoft Masterpiece. I'm not sure what that is, but it feels nice. Let's get that on. I try to put as much short stroke as I can. So with this, I'm actually using, I think this is the soft spring. It might be the medium spring. I think it's the soft spring. The tightest spring, that's crazy. I wouldn't use that personally unless you're trying to do like a, I don't know, something wild. You just kind of fit it in here. Don't let it go shooting across the room. Kind of come in from the right side. You want to get that guide rod to pop in, okay? It's kind of sitting right there. Guide rod pops in, push a little more, boom, snap. This is tight. You can damage your fingernails on there. Just be careful, know what you're doing, all right? These 5K UR barrels are jinky, so they don't have the same specs as the cow, or there's the LA Capa Customs one. I'm sure it's gonna be great when it comes out. Just make sure it's the hop-up unit's lined up with it, right? I like to put it on upside down if you're having issues with the 5KU barrel. Right? There we go. Bring it back right to that little notch. And this is my Airsoft Masterpiece slide catch. Looks beautiful, pops right in. Amazing. Make sure you're lubing it. I didn't lube for the purposes of this video. If you want to see a video just on lubrication, there's different types of lubes that you can use, different thicknesses for different types of parts. There's areas where you shouldn't put lube. There's areas where you should put lube. If you want to see a video about lubrication, let me know. And I'm sure we can get something cool worked out with that. This is the assembly video. If you want to see a takedown video, let me know about that too. We're just starting out. We might continue making videos. We might not. Depends on the feedback that we get. Have a great day, guys. Nice having you.